Okay, so Dewhurst episode 1. This is actually my second time recording this. The first time there are a few issues I had to resolve. Audio is terrible, so I've got a legitimate mic now. I spoke too fast, which I'm gonna try to resolve here. I don't know how well that's working right now because I often speak faster than I think I am, particularly if I'm passionate about something. And I'm sure issues will arise with this if anyone has anything they think I could do better with. Of course, let me know. But this episode is going to be building. I'm just going to talk about my plans for the series, about what I've done so far. So this is the map of Dewhurst. I've got it pulled up in photos so I can draw on it and talk about some various stuff. But this was done with a pixel art site because I don't have what I need to make an actual good map. But essentially, this town is split up into different sections. This is very clearly the town. Then you've got some forested sections, plains, a river, and then more like mountainous areas. And this is in a snowy region, so that will affect how it's built, or not so much how it's built, but sort of, I guess, the stylistic approach I take. But so, the section I'll talk about first is up here. This little section, that bad job. This is sort of the poor section. Or not so much the poor section, but actually I guess the poor section. These would be, say, the serfs, or indentured servants, or basically people who have almost no money, just enough to keep them alive, essentially. So you've got your little inn here. It should probably be for maybe a messenger coming into town or something like that, who won't have the money to stay in one of the fancier inns, but does need a place to stay. And just a lot of houses, and these will probably be crammed full as well. And then this little pub here, you can see some little pathways branching out throughout it. And then throughout here, sort of, again, drawing it poorly, sort of right around through here, more or less, maybe going out to here, though I'm not 100% certain, is the, not necessarily middle class, but these would be more like, what is it, the bourgeoisie? Like the merchants and shop owners and stuff who aren't your super rich people, but they have some power in the town. They're a bit higher up than just your servants. And so they've just got some open areas. You'll see some little houses that are being constructed there as well. Another pub, just some stables. Then throughout here essentially is more the rich section, so you've got your mayor's house here, and just some better houses, the best inn in the town. Then you've got your church right here, which is of course a very important building in this town, and what I'm going stylistically with this is not full medieval, but not incredibly fantasy either. I want this to be very much a realistic fantasy, if I'd be comparing it to something, not so much the fantasy that, say, Lord of the Rings is, or that kind of thing. Your very hardcore, impossible stuff with intense magic, these landscapes that aren't possible, that kind of thing. More like, I also want to say like the TV show Merlin, if you've ever seen that, but not quite that, but that's the closest I can get. But I want this to be very realistic while still having magic and dragons and dwarves and whatnot, because those things are fun. I don't want this to just be incredibly realistic, because I can't make myself do that, because I'm not a historian, so I'm going to get something wrong and I'm going to feel disappointed about it. So doing this, it lets me go more realistic, but it lets me have some fun with it and not try to get everything super accurate. But moving on, got the best pub in the town right here, of course. This is just the better stables. These would be partially for, like, the town guard or town militia or whatever it is, and partially for the richer people. But then this here is sort of the military section, so one of these would probably be like an armory or housing for militia members. I'm probably going to go in armory since the town guard, town militia would just be normal people there, so they'd have their own houses. And then the other one would be a jail cell. I'm thinking between it we'll have a gallows or a chopping block or something for the occasional execution. And then here, this isn't one specific thing, so that's I've just got a little fish drawn there. You can see the river widens out a bit here, so this would be a very small dock. This would be boat repair, storage for any stuff they bring in from the water, be it fish or wreckage or whatever. Then you've got your marketplace here, which is sort of the unofficial center of town, since it's where most of the business goes down and that kind of thing. And that's just to market. It's not, it's no pun, that's not specifically what size it'd be or where it would be, that's just the general area. This is a warehouse that I'll get to in a second. Here's the two more warehouses, I'll discuss those in just a second. And this is the blacksmith shop, so this whole section here is kind of the business center. And then this ties into it, though it's not directly part of it, I suppose. Then below the town, these are the three not part of the town things that are part of the town, if that makes any sense. So we've got mines, a lumberyard, and farm. And I'm not going super massive with these because this isn't the central hub of the kingdom or a majorly important town, but it has these things because it needs them to survive. So these would be not incredibly large, but not absolutely tiny either. And like with the mines, I'm not talking about dwarven fortress being dug out of the ground. I'm talking about a few tunnels that they're getting stone from. With a farm, it probably would take up most of this area, but it wouldn't be just a massive building with massive fields. It would be a lot of smaller stuff split up over this big plain. So you've got a little windmill here, a barn, and the farmhouse. And then the lumber mill, again, is just some trees cut down, probably some sawmill or something there as well to get them to smaller size. And that's, all of these are against very clear roads. But one thing I want to do is add some stories into this. It's not just a town that I built because I could. It's not just empty shells of houses. It's full interior, but there's stories in it. You can make up your own little story with this town. So maybe in the basement of one of the houses there's like a little hidden room where a cult would meet, and not necessarily like a Cthulhu kind of cult, but just sort of an underground religion that is frowned upon in this world, but is one that does exist, and there are a few people in this town that are part of it. The gallows, as I mentioned, maybe a little flower shop hidden somewhere, something like that. Just little things like that to bring the place to life are, well, make this interesting. And one thing I want to do is I don't want this to just be my project. If you, the viewer, have something you think would be nice in this, put a comment or contact me on something else if you have a way to contact me with something else, and I'll give it a thought and I'll try to put it in if I think it will fit and if I think I can actually do it, because I'm not the greatest builder, of course. This is just a project I'm doing for fun that I thought some people might enjoy watching. But if you want a house to be yours and you have a specific theme you want with the house, then let me know and I'll try to make that. And I want to try to keep the upper class section, since there are a few houses I don't want to just hand those out to people, but middle class or lower class, of course you can have one of those houses if you want, because just look at how many houses there are a ton. I can easily have someone have a house. So little things like that. If you have something that you think would go well in this town that could be yours, that could put your name in this town, then I'd love to do that. But I'll hop into the world now and discuss some of the things with that, so the problems that may arise and whatnot. So through the magic of editing, we'll hop into that right now. Okay, that actually took a lot longer than I expected. Minecraft crashed halfway through loading up this world the first time, which I don't actually know if that has to do with the game or with the computer or something else entirely, but as you can see, this is not normal textures, and this is not normal world generation. I mean, just look at those trees. And I am building this with lag. That will be a serious problem. This mod is rather laggy. I am building this with Conquest Reforged, oh hello Coolbird, and there is a lot of lag with it. I'm also not going to be able to do shaders with this, unfortunately, except for the occasional screenshot, or turning it on for just a second to do a cinematic or something like that. But if the world will stop being laggy, this right here is the poorer section, then stretches all the way to right about where the trunks are loaded, gets down there. This over here, I'll fly over there and show the exact spot. Right about there is this little section here in the mountains. This is where the mine will be. This whole little section, probably right here, will have a path going through this. That's where the mine itself is going to be. The farms are going to be out this central area with a road heading down to, we'll stop lagging. There's a lake down here that there will be a road heading out to that'll probably put in an island in the center of it. I remember there being an island, but if I've gone back, there's not been one, so probably just missaw something, but I think it was this that I saw as an island. Right around here, a small island would be nice. I'm not sure if that, the sound of the text came in or not. Probably not worth worrying about. But then, go lag again. Over here is, I had the spot like actually chosen where it would be around. There's a clearing somewhere in here, if I can find it again. Not a big clearing, but probably right around here maybe, or here. There was a pond in here somewhere that had a nice clearing around it that I was gonna base it around, but I could find it again in the future, of course. That's the general area of the lumber mill, and I'm just gonna, that may reduce lag. This down here is the first thing I built. This is mostly just a test of what I could do with the mod, but this is the first bridge into Dewhurst, and there we go, lag again. I don't think anything on this is actually like default Minecraft stuff. I think this was all introduced with the mod, and I really like this. I don't like how these blocks don't line up fully, but there's really not much I can do with that, so I'm gonna have to live with it. And then I don't like, well, just right at the bottom screen right now, but the stairs texture on them, I don't like that much, being the texture from the sides on the top, where it's not the same with the rest of it. But again, there's not much I can do with that. But I've done some stuff, add in custom thing. Oh, we got some snow on here, which will actually look nice once things start working out. Some barrel, just some coal and hay scattered around, and I do apologize for the lag. I'm not quite sure what I can do to reduce it. If anyone has used Conquest Reforged before and they know any way to reduce lag, if you could let me know, that would be greatly appreciated. But got some lanterns on it. I really like these lanterns. Actually, there are a lot of different lighting sources within this mod, and this may be one of my favorites. I mean, it's the only one I've used, so it's definitely my favorite right now. And then, if you move over to the side, I've done just a central support pillar, got some hanging roots and moss on this, so I am doing a lot of detailing. And I could go completely overboard with this, but I figured just a simple thing for starters would be nice, particularly with the intense lag I'm facing. But this is, again, just the first plan for this series, the basic idea. If you have anything that you think would be nice for this, or something you think I shouldn't do, or something that you think I could adjust slightly or whatever, definitely let me know, because I do want this to be a collaborative series between everyone and not just me saying this is what we're gonna do and you're all gonna have to put up with it, because that's not enjoyable to anyone. I enjoy watching the occasional Let's Build series or Let's Play series. They're kind of the same thing to me, though they are radically different. But I do really like when there is some, I guess, audience participation in it. It's not all that often that you'll see it, but sometimes that can add just the little bit. Even with, like, getting the audience to name a town or a tavern or something that, well, the town's already been named. I stole that from the website that let you generate names. You can sure, oh, yeah, after any from there, you can certainly name some taverns and inns and stuff. That would be a lot of fun, I think. And, I mean, I'm really looking forward to working on this, so long as I can get the lag under control. So, if anyone else, I'm not quite sure what to say anymore. I've lost my train of thought. That's really all I have to say, so I guess that's it for episode 1. I hope we can get this series to work out well. Hope we can get the lag under control, and this should be a lot of fun.